The national headlines say that Canada's spring market is delayed. Buyer confidence is low, prices are falling. But here in Milton, the numbers tell a completely different story. And if you're making the decisions based on what you're reading online, you need to see the data first. I'm Amy Flowers, and the Flowers team has been ranked #1 in Milton since 2009. We've helped over 3,000 Milton families buy and sell through every kind of market, the hot ones, the slow ones, and the ones that look scary from the outside, but are actually full of opportunity on the ground. This is one of those markets. And right now, what people are reading and what's actually happening here are two different things. Let's start with the number that's getting the most attention. Milton's MLS Home Price Index composite benchmark, it dropped almost 12% year over year in March 2026. This is a real number, but here's what most people don't know. Milton's average price across the first quarter of 2026 was actually identical to the first quarter of 2025. January came in at just over $1,046,000, February at $970,000, and March at $984,000. That's flat, not collapsed. So how can the benchmark be down 12% while the average price is flat? Because the benchmark is a weighted composite. When more condos and townhouses sell relative to the detached homes, the composite moves lower, even if every individual property holds its true value. That is exactly what is happening right now. The benchmark is telling you what the mix of buyers is choosing. It's not telling you that your detached home has lost 12% in value. Those are two completely different things, and confusing them is an expensive mistake. Now let's talk about inventory, because this is where the perception and the reality are really far apart. Active listings in Milton went from 334 in January to 450 in March. That trajectory can feel alarming when you're watching it month over month. But when you compare it to March of last year, it's actually lower. They were at 472. This shows that the new listings coming to market in Q1 of 2026 are actually lower than in 2025. January of 2026 had 216 new listings. January of 2025 had 322. The market feels busier with supply than it actually is. A lot of that is homes that are sitting because they're mispriced or they're underprepared, not because the market is actually broken. Part of our job is planning for that exact scenario before a listing ever hits the market, because a home that sits costs the seller far more than the price adjustment that will eventually follow. For sellers right now, the window to get ahead of this rising inventory is open. It will not stay there indefinitely. Here's the third thing that the headlines are getting wrong. Nationally, surveys show that about 66% of GTA buyers say the trade uncertainty with the United States has caused them to delay their plans. That is real. Buyer hesitation is real, but it's not uniform across every price point and property type. Milton's detached homes in March of 2026 were selling at 98% of asking with an average of 32 days on market. That's not a frozen market. That's a market that rewards preparation and punishes overpricing, which has always been true here. The buyers who are still active right now are serious and qualified. They're not waiting for a crash that our data doesn't support. They're waiting for the right home at the right price. And when that combination hits the market correctly, it does not sit. Now, here's something worth noting if you've been following the Royal LePage forecast. Their Q1 2026 report, it projects that the GTA aggregate home price to decline by 4.5% by the end of this year. That number is real, but it is driven almost entirely by the condo market. Single-family detached across the GTA are forecasted to drop a much more modest 1%. And Milton is a town that's anchored by family-sized freehold homes. It's consistently outperformed the broader GTA in softer markets. It did in 2022, it did in 2023, and the data says that it's doing it again right now. The GTA headline and the Milton reality are not the same number. Whether you're thinking about selling or you're buying and trying to figure out if now is actually the right time, we track this market every single week. We will give you straight answers based on actual Milton data, not national averages and not guesswork. Book a free home evaluation or a buyer consultation at flowersteam.ca.